Yeah, with more than 90% of Americans not agreeing whatsoever with our administration and turning out to be just the pedophiles that have full support of our administration, and they'll make up any excuse they can. And most of them are so damn dumb, they don't even have a reason that they're supporting it, you know. So it's real clear that you can look up their name and they'll have a little red dot and it'll tell you where they live, you know, and you'll see why they're truly supporting Donald Trump, right? So, what does that mean for you and me? Well, that means that you don't have to pay taxes. See, if our representative lied, used um, deceit and coercion, unfair business practices and so forth to get into the position of power, and he doesn't represent us the way that he said he would, with no wars, lowering prices, instead, everything the opposite's happening. So we're not being represented. Therefore, we should only buy from people that don't charge taxes. That means stop going to the stores, make moonshine for gasoline, and do things right. Be American. Make America great again. Make sure that the treasonous terrorists don't take over your country. They're trying to say that Zionism's a political movement, and then they say it's a religious movement, saying either one's super harmful for you and your children, because Zionism is supported by the pedophiles in America. That's it. And there's a lot of pedophiles in America. Look it up online. Look up the red dots. Go ahead. And then read the crimes that these people's committing. You know, horrible crimes. 3 months. It was as long as it took them to go to court. Yeah, nobody would bail them out. Sit in jail for bails that like $500 for committing the most horrible crime. Nobody wants to get them out and say sit there for 3 months. Then they get out time served instead of getting life without mercy or the death sentence. You know, so I'm going to lobby for the death sentence in the future for all pedophiles. I'll always lobby for that. As a matter of fact, you should lobby for that too. You should subscribe to my account so more people can see this, and make sure that you do everything you can to lobby towards death sentence for pedophiles. Find out your pedophiles near you, and you'll see who's voting for Trump. You'll see the very 5% of America, whatever, that's pedophile are voting for Trump, and that's it. And everybody else is not being represented. Zionism is pedophilia, and that's it. Israel's a crime. Zionism's pedophilia. That's your that's your new world view, because that's the reality and the foundation of things. You got to look at the foundation of things. What's Zionism about? Victimizing people, slaving people, raping children, stealing land, stealing stuff. Israel's about stealing land, actually, you know, and, rape and all that, theft and lies and, victimization. They're about espionage. That means stealing from others, stealing your hard-earned efforts and trying to demonize everything, trying to attach to everything. They tried to attach to the Masonic temple. And, I told them all to get fucked. I got shot 5 times since then. But that's okay. We've got plenty of temples that said fuck the Zionists. And all you have to do is clean your temple of Zionists. And the most successful will be the Masonic Knight of your temple. Anyone who acts in the deletion of a traitorous, terrorist Zionist within a Masonic temple becomes a Masonic Knight, and they have a higher position than the 33rd degree. So that's how that goes. They don't have a higher position than me, but they have a higher position than all of the 33s that call them 33s out there. Because I do have the highest position and rank in the Masonic Temple. I write the rules and law for the Masonic Temple. So I've turned all of the Zionists into traitors and terrorists for the Masonic Temple. So you don't have to follow all these filthy, false, fake 33rd degrees when you're in the Masonic Temple. I stand above them, and I say that you need to go against them and that they're not in the Masonic Temple anymore. And I called for this on December 25th, and then I reminded the world on the 1st. And then on the 7th, which is Jesus Christ's true birthday, first day of light, I went ahead and reminded the world again. Because this year we were 12 days off on our calendar. So everybody join together and, baptize Moloch, set his spirit free. Don't allow people to suffer with that spirit within them. You're not taking life, you're freeing them from evil, allowing the person within them, that suffered person, to be reborn, and for the baptism of the evil. All right, everybody, I love you. And remember, we're working towards utopia. And, well, it's not that we're working toward it, it's inevitable. So every Masonic member that does not work, that's complicit in any way with any evil, we're keeping tabs on everything. We have tech through the fucking roof. You can't step outside of our view. We will know what's happening. Everything's going directly to plan. And, we're giving you an opportunity, and this might be your only opportunity to ever move forward and to find accountability with a non-criminal resolution. Your non-criminal resolution comes now. You do a 180 and you do everything and anything you can to protect the people, be fair, and to, if you own business, you drop the price of things. You make it, you strengthen the economy, you strengthen the people, you provide for people and family, you treat everyone as family. And if you can't treat your family good, motherfucker, then you hire somebody that knows how to be fair, knows how to empower people and strengthen the dollar and so forth. These are the ways of the future. Nobody takes anything. There's no pay to live system anymore. We're going to empower people in a new way. So you follow my infrastructure-based economy and my self-sustaining infrastructure. And there's more to it. I've went over it completely. There'll be a lot of transfer of land from large businesses and so forth that our government owns, that have figureheads, it's like BlackRock, Blackstone, all these places are just figureheads. These people don't really own anything. If they've never lived and experienced anything close to it and they're just sitting back raising prices, they don't own it no more. You do. You live there, you own it. Right? Nobody's allowed to make you homeless anymore. Nobody's allowed to fire you and take your house with the bank anymore. That's not it. If you was approved to get the house, you're going to have the house for the rest of your life. So you're lucky I don't choose to be president, because I'd be the most aggressive president you would ever find. I mean, I would literally go out boots on the ground against Israel. I would fucking force the military to build homes in America. Oh yeah, I'd be all kinds of fucked up for all the homeless. Yeah. And then I would have maintenance programs and everything that helped the elderly, that could go around fixing their homes and stuff. And then I would have systems and people going in to do sidewalks and new roads with infrastructure, use modern infrastructure. I would give power to the people, free electricity. Hey, let's go pro fucking infrastructure, right? Let's everybody build their dreams. How about we start planting fruit trees and everything on a second level above the roads? How about we have infrastructure on the next level above that? How about we have travel for all the goods and everything above that? How about we have parks above that and we get beautiful views, you know, and wildlife and everything else? How about we do some really fun, cool things? How about we let the flying car come out and we forget about the history that you're trying to hide? Because we're not going to try to take and change and alter the whole world just because we learned of something in the past. We're not trying to conquer anything. We're trying to live peacefully on this planet together and not lose the past, but live with it. Not just stand there and watch it degrade. We want to live with it. We want to reanimate it, fix it, rebuild it, live there in these structures and reanimate the ways of the people. Some of us might want to bring new technology in, but it takes all kinds of people to build this world and to be in this world. And big business should, their part is to protect the people and bring innovations and bring economy and to bring things to people at a good price with exceptional quality because they have the ability to allow projected obsolescence within big business is a crime, you know, especially when it comes to the recycling factor and the material use and the just constant neglect of all different systems. Everything's going to be fixed. If I was your president, I'd do a lot of different things, you know. So I would empower everyone in a non-debt system, you know. It's so easy, and everyone would have a wonderful start in this world, and there's everyone would have the ability to be quite generous, you know, and America is quite generous. And with that, we'll build a new world, and the population's going to skyrocket because we're going to drop our fucking bullshit. You don't need a visa to come here. You just got to be a good person. You just got to pass a check. You just can't be fucking pedophile. You can't be a thief. You can't be a liar. You can't be a destroyer. You just got to be a good person. And that's the only criteria you should ever have to be on any part of this planet. And that's it. America needs to stop the slavery and oppression all through Africa, you know, all through, one step at a time. Hey, boom, stop the dumb shit. That's it. That's what militaries are for. Not to gain something, to let the people there live their fucking lives without outside ties and connections. I would stop all oppression on all countries if I win, if I want to be president, you know? I'm gonna let you guys do it. Tucker Carlson's not good enough. He's a filthy Zionist pig. Watch his ex Mason video. Ex Mason, remember that. Don't forget. That's traitor and terrorist to the Masonic Temple. You'll see they play big game. He's a supporter of pedophilia, and you can see how he tries to promote it. As if and endorse it and act like he has so much intrigue on it, and then they try to teach people fucking the Zionist view. So fucking disgusting. You know, Anybody that can watch that video and not have a problem with it, where Tucker Carlson's interviewing Sean Stone, and they're talking about the ex Mason, this and that. You know, Anybody can watch that interview and say that either one of them are fucking, you know, decent in any way, are fucking ridiculous. You're just completely out of your mind. You don't see through this disgusting people. And Tucker's directly aligned with Peter Thiel. So Peter Thiel is, using LRAD technologies. These technologies are used to kill people, and they brag about using them. And that's why they go after the hospitals first, because these things have a very long range, 5,000 meters. So 5,000 meters, you can't even see the drone, you know. But what these drones do is they map your heart, and that's why they want your digital information from your phones and stuff, because it will help with the drone, and it'll tell you your biometrics, so they can send the right signal to your heart, which will cause a disruptive pattern, which, even if you got a strong heart, this disruptive pattern, when it initiates, it'll immediately start working your heart into a direction that will, you know, cause you to go into cardiac arrest and die, you know. So these drones do these things to people, and they also have concentrated microwaves. And then they classify people with these drones. It's not humans, and they use these drones to, you know, literally go around and hunt the people that they want. They'll send them around looking for children to kidnap over in Pakistan. They'll look for women that they want to put in brothels and stuff like that. Look for men that they want to abuse and stuff. they'll abuse people in front of the drone. And if the people don't appreciate what's happening to them, then they're considered, you know, expendable, like, what do they call that? It's, there's so many different bad ways that they describe their crimes as if it's just no big deal, you know. But, that's just the way that, you know, Bill Gates is. Bill Gates is directly involved with those drones, you know. So Bill Gates is disgusting, and he's a traitor and terrorist to the country. And so is the Sullivan Group Foundation that built all the shopping centers across the country. They're all traitors and terrorists to our people. Built them in order to conquer local businesses, and that's all they've done. The businesses that do survive in there are directly tied to chains of businesses that are meant to make you exceptionally unhealthy and be unfair and stage the price of things. Force inflation when they want and everything else, and force businesses out, because all they have to do is drop their prices within them and conquer you. There's not enough parking or accommodation in order for you to be able to profit. If you do profit, the limited parking stops you from being able to profit enough to do good, because the profit sharing kicks in at a certain stage, and that'll make you actually make less money, because you have to pay more, because profit sharing shows you do certain amount of business, but that amount of business is not a high level of business. So as soon as you do make more than what you need to survive in that business, then they're going to charge you a whole lot more, and you're going to be making less, and you'll never get above that. So it's like, you get to a stage to where you end up getting harmed in there. But all the big companies will do great because it's a tax write-off for them, because they don't have to pay the taxes, they don't have to do anything. So you got to look into the new world and find that if you're against the freedom and the sovereignty of mankind, then you're the enemy of the world, the entire world. And I'm just telling you all the way things are. The Masonic Temple has no room, and there's no. Now, there's this guy named John Mitchell, okay? He's a bitch. He said he was a 33rd degree Mason. He's false and fake. He couldn't remember the rites to his passage or anything else. My name's Sean Diablo Mills from birth. Look up the prophecy of Apollyon, because the Masonic Temple named me Apollyon at 14 years old. Hubert Butler Powell and another man came to my house to name me Apollyon when I was 14 years old, right? So go ahead and look that up and find that he is a fucking 4-star general. He was 3-star at the time, and look up my birthday, February 6, 1978, born at exactly 1:27 p.m. That's high noon. That means the sun was exactly above where I was at. I was born on the 13th floor of the Roanoke Memorial Hospital during a 33-hour storm, a bombogenesis event. So the bombogenesis event was a 33-hour storm. I was born dead center, and it was exactly high noon during the storm. So I'm born in the center of the storm, and also in the transition of the year of the snake and the year of the horse. I was born in the center of that as well, right? And my mom walked to the hospital to give birth to me. And the 13th floor is where the memorial ward is. And it's one of 2 buildings that had a 13th floor, because they deemed it unlucky and this and that. So they just took the 13th floor away. So you've got a 32 bar storm that lasted 33 hours, So there you go. So the reality is, like, if you want to look at the true, since they want to disclose numbers, I can assign numbers, to the Masonic Temple, and these numbers will be respected as leaders of the Masonic Temple. Okay, all right. 30, that's Jesus Christ. 31, that's Muhammad. 32, King Louis the 12th. 33, Sean Diablo Mills. It's nice to meet you. I'm your leader. Now, you no longer have to follow all the false, fake 33rd degree Masons. You have a new path that allows peace. And you're allowed to do everything and anything in your power to stop the Zionists. Use all means necessary, take everything that they have and use it for the good, for the empowerment of mankind. All right, I love you guys. And I'm going to let you go. You can look into me as much as you want. You'll find a whole lot of truth. And you'll find a whole lot of wild shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you look into my life, I've had an exceptional life. It's like a fucking movie, you know? So, if I start going live and shit, you'll end up hearing about a lot of things that I wouldn't put on here. But yeah. So, let's go ahead and subscribe to my account. Let me debate the people that call themselves leaders. Let me teach them. Let me guide them. And let's bring on this new world. You know, I know how to teach people to gain their accountability. There's no such thing as free forgiveness. There's no such thing as it being a better world for not judging someone. You judge them so that they know how you reflect upon their actions, so that they can decide whether or not they want to continue that, not find out later that they've been hurting people. That's ridiculous. And when it comes to forgiveness, Jesus might forgive you for doing for, but God's not going to fucking forgive you. You know, God will not forgive you. You will earn your forgiveness. There's a certain amount level of love within your spirit, and if you can't express that love and kindness or protection, if you can't express things that are good for this world, and you haven't brought the scales to enable you to, at least balance out, you're gonna have some problems. So I love this beautiful world. I love you all too, and I'm gonna have to go. All right, keep a smile. Have a great day.